Hi, great Samsung morning, everyone. It's nice to be back. I'm Sarah Alvaro, and with me is my colleague Paolo from the Samsung Research Regional Technical Account Management Team for Southeast Asia and Oceania. Today, we'll talk about optimizing your applications to get the most out of your foldable device experience. Let's begin by taking a quick recap of our agenda for today. To start with, we'll cover an introduction to foldable devices, followed by the application optimization guidelines, best practices, use cases, and additional resources, followed by a Q&A portion. Right. Working while on the go has become the norm, and mobile phones are at the heart of this very moment. These devices, Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3 and Flip 3, are a combination of choose your own device options that employees want. A larger screen that can act as a replacement for laptops and other peripherals, and a smaller screen size for people who want to limit their screen time while staying on the go and keeping in touch with their business colleagues. With the Galaxy Z Flip, we can see all the notifications front and center on a large notification screen. Flex and place it down for hands-free video conferencing on a sharp and steady camera. Take photos with a cover display preview to capture the best angles. Work in multiple active windows at once while unfolded. Connect to a PC using the link to Windows features, while knowing it's all protected with Event's great security of Knox. For the Z Fold, as you can see here, the 2-for-1 form factor, still the same as the previous iterations. The only difference here is that now we have a support for the Galaxy S Pen with the Fold 3. This similarly can perform a customization of your screens, launching multiple apps from the Edge panel, saving your favorite app pairings, work naturally with the S Pen, as earlier mentioned, capturing and viewing of photos, dragging and dropping between apps, enjoying applications optimized for foldables, and going from tablet to PC using Samsung Links. All right. For the application optimization guidelines, I'm going to turn over to my colleague Paolo. But before that, just want to say that most of the SDKs that are featured here would be provided after the session. So please do jot it down and take note of the resources afterwards. Pao?
Hello everyone. Thank you, Sarah, for the introduction. So I'm Paolo, part of the Samsung B2B and the Knox team. So for today, we'll talk about the fold optimization guideline. So for Galaxy Z Fold and Flip, it is designed to provide a new seamless experience to users with its unique form factor and Infinity Flex display. As an app developer, you can optimize your app for foldable devices to support the core display functions such as app continuity, multitasking, and flex mode. So for the first core display, app continuity refers to the capability of your app to seamlessly restore user state when it receives configuration change, such as when a device is folded or unfolded. Since the app is running on foldable device, you can transition from one screen to another. And it is very important that the current task of the app continues seamlessly after the transition and the app remains the same in the same state and location. As a developer, uh, since the foldable devices are have two screens, you can adjust your app to provide the best user experience to the user when folding and unfolding to the device. Now, to provide a seamless experience to the user while folding and unfolding this device, the app must maintain its continuity to prevent data loss. So, for in terms of the app development, it is essential that you use the save instance state in the activity, and uh, when folding on or unfolding to restore the data or even the activity, you can restore the save instance from the onCreate method in the while you're developing your while you're implementing your app continuity of your app. For multitasking, so Android enables well, starting Android 7, Android enables multi-app to enables multi-app to share the same screen simultaneously. So the system can display two apps side by side, which we call split screen mode. In the case of flip, or sorry, in fold, it allows you to display two or more apps when it's unfolded. However, if it's unfolded, the max would be two apps side by side. So we also have picture-in-picture mode for the multi-window, which is one app in small window overlaying other apps. We also have the free form mode, or individual apps in separate movable and resizable window, like a pop-up screen. Uh, for the device user, they can activate split screen mode by opening the recent screen from the device, select the app that you wanted select the app that you want to open in the multi-window, and then there's an option there wherein you can select split screen menu option, and then you can select the other app for the other screens. The best user experience, it depends on the version of the Android and the kind of device. For Android 12, it makes multi-window standard behavior. So on a large screen, the platform supports all apps in multi-window mode, regardless of app configuration. So if the resizable activity attribute in your application is set to false, the app is put into compatibility mode when necessary to accommodate display dimensions. However, for the small screen, the system checks the activity's minimum width and minimum height to determine whether the activity can run in multi-window mode. So if the resizable activity attribute in your app is set to false, the app is prevented from running in multi-window mode regardless of minimum width and minimum height. So if the resizable activity is set to true, the activity can be launched in split screen mode and free form mode. Otherwise, it will disable multi-window mode display and dynamic resizing. So remember to handle the changes required to fit your UX in a small screen when implementing the multi-window mode. Oops, sorry. So multi-resume. So multi-resume is part of the multitasking. So in multi-window mode, it does not change the activity lifecycle. However, the resume state of an app in multi-window varies on different versions of Android. So starting Android 10, all activities visible to multi-window mode are allowed to stay in resume state. You no longer need to force your app to have multi-resume multi-resume behavior. However, there are some cases that where an app can be in a pause state in Android 10, in which cases you need to enforce the following multi-resume behavior shown in the screen. So first one would be while in minimize split screen, the top activity isn't resumed because it's not focusable. So number two would be in picture-in-picture mode, the activity is well isn't resumed because it's not focusable. And lastly, when activity are covered by other transparent activity in the same stack. So you can also help your users make most of the multitasking of the foldable devices uh, by enabling multi-instance in your app. So for example, a user can view two different websites simultaneously in Samsung Internet Browser, or even compare contents across multiple notes in Samsung Notes, or copy files from one folder to another in My Files. So each root activity has its own task, which runs on a separate process and is displayed in its own window. Now, to launch multi-instance of your app in a separate window, you can start your activities with the flag called flag underscore activity new underscore task flag. So you can combine this with some multi-window attributes to request a specific location of the new window. So starting Android 12, it enables you to launch two instances of an activity side by side in the same task window. So when a multiple instance are running on a separate window on foldable device, one or more instances might be set to the background, and when the multi-instance are running in a separate window on foldable devices, one or more instances might be sent to the background. And if when the posture changes, so for example, assume that device is unfolded and has two application instances running on two windows on either side of the fold. If the device is folded, one of the instances might be terminated instead of trying to fit the window for both instances on the smaller screen. So as more device supports multi-window, you can consider enabling sharing content between among the visible windows by adding support for drag and drop capability of your app. So user can drag and drop data from one activity or one activity to another, or one app to another. With the Android drag and drop framework, you can enable user to move data by means of interactive drag and drop gesture. So user can drag text, can drag images, objects, or any content that can be represented by a URI for one view to another view within an app, or in multi-window mode between different applications. So the framework includes the Android framework includes drag and drop event class, drag listeners, helper classes and methods, although the primary design to enable the transfer of data is a transferring of data. The framework can be used to other UI actions. So for example, you can create, so as shown in the screen, you can create an app that mixes colors when the user drags a color icon over another icon. So the third core display experience would be the flex mode. So it is when your phone is partially folded it will go into flex mode. So apps will reorient to fit the screen, letting you send message or watch videos without holding the phone. So for example, you can set the phone somewhere flat, like on a table, and use bottom half of the screen to navigate. So you can unfold the phone to use the apps in a full screen mode and partially fold it again to return to flex mode. So for making it easier to bring flex mode to more third-party service, so Samsung and Google has worked together to redesign the app from the operating system level. So integrating flex mode to Android support library was one of the examples, supporting apps and users to take advantage of differentiating experience in foldable devices. So in the library version 1.0.0, so it provides information about two physical properties of foldable devices. So one would be display state, as you can see. So you can consider this uh, activities or application states while implementing flex mode, and even display feature. So display feature is a distinctive physical attribute located within display panel of the device. So it can intrude into application window space and create a visual distortion, visual or touch discontinuity, make some area visible, or create a logical divider or separation in the screen. So these are the display features that you can, well, currently this is for the Z Fold to N Fold, but after the session we'll share some information about the flip. For UI consideration, so for foldable devices bring different screen size and shape to the market. So the way people use their apps may vary from the past devices that they were using. So by considering new layouts and navigation patterns, app developers can explore opportunities to build greater experience in more larger screen devices. So devices where app on devices where your app takes up the entire screen, a large screen form factor means you need to allow various aspect ratios. So on desktop form factors, from desktop form factors, user can apply even more extreme aspect ratio. So example would be an IM app or communication app where users may place it in a tall, narrow window at the edge of the screen so that they can view and respond to or use other apps while working that occupies the rest of the screen. So there's no shortcuts in addressing this diverse of aspect ratio. So you will need to really test and support. Really need to test this on the actual ratio as best as possible. So to be compatible with Samsung foldable devices, you can test your apps through the following ratios. So currently, this is for the fold because it has more. Well, it's a bit new to the market, so we've showcased more on the fold for the aspect ratio, but we'll also share some information on the flip. Okay, so once you've implemented the core display functionalities or core display features, now it's time to test your application. So still the best way to test the application would be if you have a foldable devices. But unfortunately, not all of us has test devices. we have other alternatives. So one would be foldable emulator. So if you're Android developer, you are familiar with the Android emulator. So you can the Android emulator already provides foldable aspect ratios or foldable emulators. However, you can create your own. So based on the aspect ratio that we've shared on the previous slide. So the next one would be Remote Test Lab. So Remote Test Lab is actually a service that enables software developers, app developers to control devices remotely in the Samsung developer, well, in the code in the Samsung developers portal. So you can rent, you can rent a device. So any devices that is available in the remote test lab. So that includes, I believe, there's most of all the Samsung devices. So you can test your app on an actual device, but you access the device remotely. So you can select which locations that you want to for example, you want to rent a foldable device in our server in Korea or in our server in Vietnam. So uh, it allows you to test based on experience. It's much more, the best option when testing it if you don't have a physical device would be remote test lab, since you're testing it on an actual device. However, it's only you're accessing the device remotely. Okay. So the next few slides will be discussing we'll be discussing the common best practices that we suggest when you are adapting to fold devices. So since the user unfolds and folds their devices frequently, it is important to provide an optimized layout for each screen by dynamically changing UI to match the screen size. So when you design your app, it should be responsive. So as shown in the example would be shown in the screen. So don't waste extra space. So users use app on their screen depending on which is more convenient at the time. So however, users are uncomfortable or even unhappy when the app is simply stretched out to fit the large uh, screen display when the device is unfolded. So show more information at once. So on a larger screens, dual pane layout lets you show the app hierarchy by flattening navigation. User can access content quickly without a full screen transition. So get things done without leaving the screen. So for an input field that requires small amount of information like registration pages, use a small pop over or pop up screen instead of filling the entire screen. Showing on top of the previous screen helps user accomplish their main agenda or task without forgetting what they were working on. So yeah. And lastly, do more at the same time. Your app may have a feature that is useful to remain visible but doesn't require frequent interaction. In these cases, we suggest that you use small floating widget that can appear on top of other applications. Okay. So now we would like to share how foldable devices are being used in different industries in enterprise or B2B. So first one would be for government. So whether users are in office or in transit, use the fold or flip device to efficiently search and write emails using multitasking capability of the devices. So while commuting to the office, the device user or the business user can check email and organize schedule using the foldable device. And using multitasking feature, they can instantly reply to urgent requests after modifying a document file or even a PowerPoint file in the large screen display. And then at the office, they can synchronize schedule and notes updated at home to to the office laptop, utilizing the seamless PC continuity of the foldable devices. And during a meeting, the employee can conveniently present documents and share notes on the screen using the wireless desk and S Pen. And if the employee needs to attend a meeting outside the office, the user can share contents and take notes using S Pen during a video conference, taking down notes with the flex mode. And by the end of the day, using a split screen feature, the employee can check or the user can check emails and prepare uh, tomorrow's work at home. In the finance sector, for business user, they can easily conduct financial and or insurance consulting on a large screen display, gather information digital signature using S Pen, and use video and present document with flex mode. So the user can start their day by synchronizing customer list and meeting schedules stored in PC, and convenient data like images and PDF files, and transfer with wireless decks. So using the multi-window mode, user can showcase insurance products while showing the competitors' products for comparison in large screen display. And using a split view, user can explain terms and condition instantly, get customers' digital signature using the S Pen. And user can introduce insurance product to customers through the company's optimized video conference app using the flex mode capability. And end of the day, the user can user can introduce insurance product to sorry at the end of the day, user can securely upload uh, customer contact information from the device to the corporate server using 5G capability of the foldable devices. So last use case that we have would be for business travelers or enterprise. So they can efficiently search and revise contents with multitasking capability, conveniently use use video and present documents with flex mode. And lastly, have access to flexible work environment with the use of Samsung decks. So during a flight, the business user or the business traveler can easily download the the file needed for the presentation and can make changes to the document easily using the multitasking and large screen display of the device. With the wireless decks and S Pen, user can present and take down notes during meetings. With the multi-window feature of the Fold device, user can also showcase products and make comparison on large screen display. And during meetings, user can easily share product information from the Fold device, again from its large screen display. And by the end of the day, with the flex mode and seamless PC continuity, so the business traveler or the business user can conveniently share the meeting results via email or even in the video call.
All right, Pao, thank you for those insights. Before we proceed with the next segment, we'd just like to run a quick poll for our attendees today. So for the first item, which foldable core experience do you think is the most useful to your app? Is it any of the four or all of the four listed? All right. Okay, so it looks like multitasking is all of the above, 70%, 20% for multitasking, and 10% for app continuity. Thank you for this insight. And then another poll we have, please send it. Okay. This one is, which of the interface and interaction guidelines are suited for large screen? Is it responsive layout, not wasting the excess space, using ideal layouts for large screen, or all of these? Okay, so it looks like all of the above, 55% got it right. So all three are in developer.samsung.com One UI foldable and large screen guidelines. So for this one, we will share the link after this call. Thank you everyone for your insights and your answers. So yes, to learn more, we may proceed with visiting the site on screen, developer.samsung.com/foldables and large screens, or developer.android.com. And you may find out more about these resources, the sample applications, the One UI guidelines, the design guidelines for foldables, and then for more of the links, you can see here the foldables resource are listed, and also the test links for how to test your apps using foldable phones and large screens. I forgot to mention earlier, but if there are questions, please do write them down, and we'll be visiting the chat box to look for your queries and answer them. Okay. Okay, so we have the first question. Pao?
Yeah.
For question 1, is the screen ratio for Z Fold 3 the same as Fold 2?
There are minor changes, but we will provide the actual when we send the documents after the session. Because currently for in the Samsung developers, the only information that was provided is the Fold 2. But we will share the actual screen size or even the aspect ratio for the Fold 3.
And then we have the second question. Could you share the presentation via email? For this one, I will take this. We
Yeah,
cannot
yeah.
share the presentation,
Okay.
the entire one, because it's actually cannot be forwarded via email because of its large size. But as a workaround for it, we will be uploading the recording of this webinar, and you may
Mm.
use this as a reference once it's uploaded into the Samsung developers YouTube channel. All right. Are there more questions? I'll scroll up. Okay. Question 3. Can you please elaborate on the use cases you mentioned for flip devices?
Okay, for flip.
Hmm.
Actually, all of the use case that was discussed for fold are also applicable to flip devices. So, however, the only limitation for flip devices are those scenarios that requires app continuity due to its limitation on the front screen. So the front screen of the flip is not a full smartphone screen. So, but some of the cases that is applicable to Flip are if the business user needs to attend the meeting, or they can share content and take down notes during a video conference with a flex mode. And also in the Flip devices, they can use multi-window mode. Uh, so users can showcase documents, products, or any other information in a device while showing uh, while showing it in the main screen. So for the flip, well, in terms of multi-window for flip, it's max two applications that you can launch, and I think for yeah, max two windows for flip for multitasking or multi-window.
All right, thanks, Pau. And then we have another question right here. How do you think flex mode can help to boost productivity?
Well, for flex mode, so the foldable hinge and glass display on foldable devices lets the phone remain uh, open while you use your app. So when your app is partially folded, it will go into flex mode. So apps will reorient to fit the screen, letting you send message or browse the web without holding the phone or using those apps at the same time. So for example, you can set the phone somewhere flat, like on a table, and use the bottom half of the screen to navigate. Unfold the phone to use the apps in a full screen mode, and partially fold it again to return to flex mode.
All right, and then we have another one. Uh, can you explain the multi-resume feature again? And how is it different from split screen feature?
Yeah, sorry, I'm reading the I'm reading the question. So can you explain the multi-resume feature again and how this? Okay, so by default, when opening an app in under devices, recent apps will be in pause state. So starting Android 10, all activities visible in multi-window are allowed to stay in resume state. So multi-resume is essential when when using split screen mode to be able to simultaneously use multi-apps in multi-window mode.
All right, and I think we have the last question here. How many multi-windows can we open together in split screen mode?
Okay, for split screen mode, so for the fold device, so on the front screen, it's max of 2 apps. However, if it's unfolded, you can launch max of 3 applications. For flip, for if it's unfolded, well, for flip, it's max of 2. So uh, for the multi-window, it is only applicable in the main screen of the flip. So you cannot use the multi-window in the front screen of the Z flip.
All right. Thanks, Pao. I think there are no more dots aping in the chat box, so we can conclude the session for today. So with that, as we wrap things up, here are the contact details for Samsung's Knox Partner Program APAC team. So these are displayed on screen right now, and you can reach out to any one of our subsidiaries within the region, and we would provide you the best possible support. On behalf of all our HQ R&D team members who are playing a key role in the technical support and the strategic positions, the partners, thank you for making this event a successful one. We'll see you again in the next KPP webinar. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.